Can you hear me? Hey, y'all. Welcome to the live stream. I don't hear nothing. Hold on. Hold on. I don't talk. I didn't hear the music. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know why that does it. I was trying to find something to reference because I can't remember. Okay. That's crazy. Can you hear me talking, baby? Did you mute my mic or something? I don't understand why I can't hear it. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to me. It's Wednesday, hump day. Y'all know what we do on Wednesday. On hump day, we talk about stuff. I would like to say everybody had a great day, and I wish you a prosperous and easy rest of your week. As y'all saw from the title, it's gonna get a little intense. I am a specific case inspired me, but I'm talking about the okay. It's hard to articulate what I'm trying to say. There are going to be bad people everywhere. There have been bad people forever. And I have never wanted to live my life to where I'm scared of woulda, shoulda, couldas, and what ifs, and things like that. I never wanted to raise Nick to where I was so scared of what could happen that I didn't allow life to happen for him. So I have lived my life and raised my kids to where, yes, bad things are out there. This is what you do to protect yourself, but live life. What happened? There have always been bad people. There have always been people out there who thrive on hurting others. There have always been people who thrive on hurting children, hurting women, hurting families. It has been. And I don't know what we can do in our lifetime, in our great great grandkids' lifetime, to make that stop happening. I don't know if that ever cease to exist. But we have people put in place to, one, protect us. And if they're a little late protecting us, get justice for us. As you know, I love the law. The law is my jam. It is my football. It is my armchair get down, because it is immaculate and chaotic at the same time. And I guess it's said in a civilized society, we need rules and regulations. We tell our kids, as we raise our children, we give them rules and regulations, things they can and cannot do. We allow them to either learn by experience. You can tell a child only so many times that the stove is hot until they touch it and realize, oh, it burns me, and they don't do it again. You can only tell a child so many times, stop running around this house before they fall and bust their head on something, or scrape their knee, or be sitting over the corner crying because they did exactly what you told them not to do. And the consequences of their actions gave them pain or something in some way. People, children, adults need rules and regulations. That being said, the reality is that most people, the majority of the planet, will do the right thing. The reason that evil looks so bad and so loud is because acts of evil overshadow, one act of evil will overshadow thousands of acts of good. We don't want to see the positive things on the news. We want to see the fights and the arguments. None of the reality TV will be successful if everything was coming up roses. And I know that. I know that. So the world works better with rules and regulations. Set rules and regulations, things you can and cannot do. Now, there are certain things that are moral. There are certain things that nobody should have to tell you not to do. But just in case you're one of those people that going to do what you want to do, you need to understand that there are consequences for your actions. And if you do things you're not supposed to do, something can happen to you. And that's where the law comes in. Now, from the title, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to start with that and then go into what really pissed me off. Because this is what pissed me off. I watched a show about a young girl. She was 9 years old. And she walked to the bus stop with her twin brother. Something they did every morning. Bus stop was only a couple of houses down, a few houses down from their house. It was a neighborhood. It wasn't like they were walking on a busy street. It wasn't like they were crossing a highway. They were going from their house to maybe 3 or 4 houses down to the stop sign, to where they get picked up with the bus. They did it every day. They held hands. They walked. They played. They did what 9-year-old kids do every day. The little girl, it's a boy and girl set of twins. The little girl disappeared one morning. She disappeared. Now, if you know the rest of this story, you know it did not have a happy ending. The reality is that statistically, I'm not 100% certain. I think within the first 4 hours, if you haven't found a child within the first 4 hours, the likelihood of them being found alive is minuscule. The few times that the people who have been kidnapped and been found alive, it is because the person who kidnapped them didn't want to kill them. But in most instances, what happens is that this person commits this act of violence against this child and then realizes that this child can now say, "Oh, this is who did it." So that's what happens. Most children are killed within the first couple of hours of being taken. Because the reality is, it's hard. It's hard to walk around with a screaming, wiggling, crying child that looks nothing like you. That's not an easy thing to do. So that's just statistically what's going on. But it wasn't until later that they found out that she didn't make it to school. So that precious time that they look for kids when they're first gone was over with. Fast forward to her being found. She was found in a landfill. The young lady was the baby was had been assaulted, murdered, and thrown away like trash. It was horrifying. In the reality that it happens all the time. This show wasn't a rare show that comes on every so often. I can scroll through the ID channel on demand, scroll through the different shows on there, and just about every third or fourth show is about some child that has been kidnapped and hurt, killed, and not made home to their parents. And I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. I'm talking about babies. As I was coming on, I was trying to find a show that made me want to say what I'm about to say. And I found another one to where a little 11-year-old girl was murdered by a neighbor, put in a suitcase, and thrown in some waterway like she meant nothing. I watched a show where an 11-year-old boy was killed by a stranger because that person just wanted to see what it felt like to kill somebody. So they chose an 11-year-old little boy. The reality is that this happens way too often. It happens way too often. But this particular case, this is what pissed me off. 2 months prior to the young girl being kidnapped, roommates happened to be on their other roommate's computer. You know how it is. Y'all live together. I'm gonna go on the computer, watch porn, I'm gonna play a game, whatever. They noticed a folder on the computer. I'm not gonna say what the folder said, but needs to say it was explicit in the two words that were on there that they should never be together. The two words should never be together in the sentence, especially the name of the folder. So they clicked on it. So I guess maybe the person who was doing this didn't think that they would play on his computer. I don't know why it was left open. I don't know why it was so readily accessible to people other than the person that owned the computer. But needs to say he had images of child exploitation. I'm just going to say it like that. They took the computer, the entire computer, to the police. This is 2 months before the young girl went missing. 2 months before she went missing. They even told the police that they believe he is actively assaulting one of his family members, a 6-year-old family member, now as we speak. He is because he was babysitting. Hear what I'm saying? He was babysitting his juvenile family members. Okay? This is 2 months before the little girl went missing. Not only did they not go through the computer, but instead of getting a warrant to go in and open up the computer and see what's going on with the person that is actually owns a computer and put the images on the computer, the police decided to focus on the people that turned him in, giving them lie detector tests, searching through their stuff. They were 100% open and by the book. They went in. This is what's happening. We didn't know about it. As soon as we found out about it, we came and told you. What can you do about it? Nothing, I guess. They could do nothing Because 2 months later, the same guy took this little girl, and she'll never see her family again. She'll never get any older than 9. And it could have been avoided. Everybody's got excuses. When it comes to the judicial system and the police, not just the judicial system, because before you even get to the actual court system, you have to be arrested. Before you actually get to the system of checks and balances, to the system of punishment, you actually have to be arrested. When Nick was young, I used to be scared if he would fall and bust his head on something, or I was scared if he would break an arm or anything, because that was back when if you took your baby into the ER with any kind of injury, if the doctor felt like you were the cause of the injury, you wouldn't leave there with your baby. The little girl goes missing. And the first thing that happens, if y'all don't know, the first thing that happens when a child goes missing, as a part of their, I guess, their investigative tools, they go to the sex offender registry. Now, if anybody knows about the sex offender registry, they understand that it has classes, but it doesn't separate out adults from children. It doesn't separate out the guy who picked up the prostitute. It doesn't separate out people who specifically target adults, or who specifically target women, or it doesn't filter out anything. So if you go on a sex offender registry and you think that you're going to find people who specifically like children, or these are the crimes that they would commit, that's not how it does. So they go to the sex offender registry and they look around and they try to find somebody on there in the neighborhood. Yay. But the reality is, y'all, the sad reality is that most sex crimes, unless there's a death involved, are not reported. Little girls are scared to tell their parents that somebody touched them or is having sex with them because that person has threatened them with death or threatened their family. Young ladies are scared to go and report a crime because they're scared nobody will believe them, because the reality is that they get more questions asked from them than the person who actually committed the crime. These crimes are underreported. So you have people on the set. So you go, you check the registry. So you find somebody of interest, somebody's on the registry. So you focus on this person. This person has an alibi. This person has this person has that. But you singularly focus on this person because of this list. But you don't open a computer folder. You don't say, hey, y'all remember when they bought that computer in? That dude lives down the street from that little girl that was taken. You think we should do something about that? I understand that it doesn't take 3 days. It doesn't take 20 minutes for a crime to be solved. That's TV. I understand it takes time, and it takes man hours, and it takes reading, and it takes going through files, and it takes knocking on doors. I get all that. But do that. Hey, I dropped off this computer. It's some stuff on there. Could y'all look at it? That's not any of your business. What do you know about it? I know I dropped it off. This little girl is down the street. Do the police go, hey, it's a small town. Hey, y'all remember a couple months ago they dropped off this computer? Should we check it? Should we get a court order and open it up? Should we see if this has anything to do with this? It wasn't until 5 months later that they actually decided to look at the computer. And there were disturbing images. That's how they say it's disturbing images. There were images of the family member that the roommates told the police about. The mother of the little girl even said, yes, that's his bedroom. But it's too late. It's too late then. Now nobody want to make a comment. Ain't nobody got nothing to say. Everybody want to get on here talking about the great job that the force was doing. What job was they doing? A mouse click, a court order and a mouse click. And maybe, I'm not going to say, let me tell you something. I'm not going to say if they actually had looked at the computer in the 2 months that they would have did anything. Because let me tell y'all something. Y'all remember Jared from Subway? Y'all remember Jared? Finally went to jail for child pornography. It took months for them to actually even bring him in for questioning. Even after they had an admission in his own voice of him actually doing stuff to kids. It took months for them to even actually bring him in for questioning. I get it. You want the lawyers want to win, the DAs want to win the case, the prosecutors want to make sure they got enough evidence and da 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 da. But maybe, just maybe, I'm just spitballing here. Maybe if he knew that they were paying attention to him, maybe if he knew that they had his computer and they knew and he knew that they knew who he was, maybe he would have said, maybe I will not take this little girl. But you know what? None of that changed the fact that this lady lost her baby. But there's got to be a better way. They make up laws for everything. They strip the rights from women. They do it every day. Every day there's a different law that'll get a woman put in jail if she wants to even discuss having an abortion. A doctor get put in jail. Different laws every day. Laws, statutes, this, that, and the third. You tell me that you can't change the rules of engagement when it comes to protecting our most vulnerable people. You tell me you can't update laws and change statutes. You tell me that shouldn't be the first thing you think about in the morning when you see these mothers and these fathers on TV crying and begging for their babies to come back. Even if you got to bring their babies back in a body bag, bring my baby home. You tell me that there's no recourse for changing the rules that clearly do not work in favor of the victims. Now, make no mistake about it. I will tell you in 3 heartbeats and 2 snaps, get a lawyer. Shut the fuck up and get a lawyer. If you get pulled over by the police, answer the questions yes or no, give them your ID, don't argue with them. I am a firm believer in get a lawyer. I don't care what you're being arrested for. Your name, my name is lawyer. What is your name? Attorney. Never speak to the police without an attorney. Never. I don't care what it's for. I don't give a shit if you were in a whole other country at the time of the crime. Do not speak to the police without an attorney present. That is what I will tell you, and I will constantly tell people that. However, there's got to be a way to change it. So that if you get somebody tells you, hey, you know, this person is doing this. Check this computer. We saw the images. Can you look at them too? We can't do anything about what we saw, but you can. There's got to be a way that the victims attain as many rights as the criminals do. And I don't want to take away rights from those accused of crimes. For anybody get on here talking crazy, I firmly believe in everybody's right to a fair trial and an attorney. I believe you have a right to say your case regardless of whether or not you did it. I believe you have the right to fight it. I believe in all of that. But they can be two things true at once. I believe in the accused rights, but I believe in victims' rights. And the reality is, victims have very few. That has been the one thing that has always bothered me about this process of law and order. A criminal accused of a crime, once he's been accused, he has all these rights and the rules and regulations, the rules of engagement when it comes to dealing with a criminal. And the one thing that you don't want to do is take away those rights because you never know when you'll need them. Those rights just don't protect those who actually did the crime. They protect the innocents that are accused of crimes. So don't get on your soapboxes, and high horses talking about da 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 whoop de whoop. The same laws that protect the one that actually did the crime will also protect you or yours if you didn't. Make no mistake. The judicial system as a whole needs an overhaul because it's skewed to Black people spending exponentially more time in jail for lesser offenses than their lighter skinned counterparts. It's skewed to where, depending upon who you are and the judge or the jury you go up against, molesting a 5-year-old will get you a year of house arrest. The judicial system needs an overhaul when it comes to sex crimes and the victims of those crimes. 2 months prior to this young girl being kidnapped and killed, the person who did it, his computer with the images that would and should have got him put in jail were sitting in a police station because it wasn't important enough to check out. I don't get it. And I don't know if it's one specific or particular thing that you can focus on. Is this just how the system is? Is this just how we train the police force? The millions and then billions of funding for police and for armor piercing bullets and tactical gear and tanks that cops don't really need. Don't understand why a cop need a tank in the middle of Atlanta, but hey, it is what it is. The billions of dollars that is spent on the police, I think they need to shift a bit of that to training. They need to shift away from the fact that I feared for my life. Get a new job. Get a new job. Firemen run bald-headed, balls out, raw dogging into fire. Into fire. I'm not talking about a bullet that could or may not hit you. I'm not talking about the fireman runs straight into fire. Do you know how long a fireman would be a fireman if every time a fire came up, he said, I feared for my life, so I couldn't go in and do my job? Is anybody saying anything? I can't see. I'm not looking. Hey. Hey, y'all. Oh, okay.
Lisa,
Yeah,
you gotta check my sound.
I can hear you
Is it crackling?
a little bit, but it's not anything. It's not anything
No,
bad. It might be.
Lisa,
It could just be mine for real though, because I got mine up all the way. Say something else.
say something else.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I
You
said, it could
sure?
probably be mine. Uh-huh.
Lisa, you don't want me to go out and come back in?
No, you good, man. You good.
Because last week was terrible.
I mean, if you want to go out and come back in and see if that helps, you can.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. I I get emotional about this because everybody's got a little baby or a kid they love. The the culture of silence that we cultivate around sex, the way we teach our children about sex has a lot to do with how they function in the world when it comes to sex. My mom don't want to hear about that. My mom won't believe me if I tell her. I tried to tell her, but she told me that I was just imagining it. It was a dream. Nothing happened. Her husband, boyfriend, friend would never do that. Your father would never do that. Why are you saying that about him? You just making it up. He's a good boy. He would never do that. He comes from a good family. You just trying to destroy him. Why would he do that to you? He can have any girl. What makes you special? Why would he do that to you? He's an upstanding citizen. He's a pastor. He's a teacher. He's a doctor. He's a police officer. He would that's not the kind of man he is. These are the things that our victims hear. These are the images that they see on television. These are the things that they hear other people say to their sisters and their cousins and their brothers. This is what they're presented with. So when something happens to them, who they gonna tell? They could go to the police. He said she did it. Do you have any proof? She wouldn't do that. Why are you saying that? You just don't want me to be happy. I would never date that kind of man or woman. They've never shown me anything. This is what young people deal with. Our antiquated notions of sex and sexuality are killing our babies. They sit in corners and they take the punishment from somebody else that is supposed to be a caregiver or supposed to love them or supposed to be a father figure, a mother figure, somebody that they're supposed to be able to go to in times of need. I tell my mom, are you sure? Why didn't you tell me the first time it happened? And kids don't know how to articulate. Mama, I've been listening to you talk crazy about sex since I was born. Why would I come tell you this man touched me when you act crazy the way you do? Kids don't know how to say that. Kids don't know how to articulate the thoughts in their head when they have listened to you talk about this child was whole. That child was fast. That baby is mannish. Put some clothes on. She always up under a man. So why do you think your children feel safe to come talk to you?
How about now, Lisa?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay.
You good. Why do you
How are
think
you?
I'm fine? How are you? I'm sorry. How are you?
That's okay. I'm good. Um child, it kept telling me I had to clear some stuff off this phone. I got to get a new phone. So I'm
You
thinking that's
know,
probably all
what
the
kind is
stuff.
that?
Samsung, I think.
What? Which one you got?
I think this is a Samsung.
It's a bunch of them. I got a Samsung. I'm a Samsung girl. I cannot do the iPhone, so I'm all Samsung all the
Yeah.
time. It's time
Yeah,
for
the
me to upgrade.
the iPhone that I have, I only work that with my niece and them, and it's like by the internet stuff. I'm not good with this phone business. I'm not, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
My baby
happens.
was telling me that I probably got to clear some stuff out, and yeah, I don't know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
might have a lot of.
yeah.
You have to go through your pictures sometimes and just clear out your pictures sometime and stuff that you got. Stuff that was downloaded or uploaded that you don't
Mm.
look at or don't. Sometimes you just got to go through and do it. We sitting there doing something, sitting there watching TV. That's when I do it. I'll go through my pictures and stuff and get rid of screenshots and stuff that I sent her that I want to show her a picture of that I don't need to keep in my phone. I do it
Oh,
every so often. So,
okay.
uh, yeah, that's all you got to do. I mean, you can sit there doing it while you watch your TV. But yeah, that I, I I'm of two minds when it
Hmm.
comes to the police. I believe firmly in 911. Let me say that. I'm too old to be arguing. I'm too old to be getting in a tussle. I'm not about to sit up there and argue with my next door neighbor. I'm not about to sit up there and go no back and forth with nobody. I
Hmm.
will call 911 when it's a crime because you shouldn't call 911 for any other reason. I'm not gonna call 911 on my neighbors because they music too loud. I'm not gonna do that because every now and again we be bumping over here.
Even after hours.
Not till we old. Shit, no, we be asleep. No, I'm just saying. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not. Oh, you mean other people? I mean, it depends
Yeah.
on the situation. I mean, I if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, yes. If it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, no.
Okay, because I've called on my neighbors now.
No. That's
At
just,
3 in the
just
morning.
me. That's just me. But that just also depends on where you live.
Hmm. I live
If
in a
you live in a
quiet neighborhood.
yeah, if you live in a where y'all are right on each other and music from down the street sound like music in your living room, you know.
Yeah,
So that's just me.
yeah,
I firmly believe in that. But I also believe that the police are biased.
yeah.
I also believe that they target young men of color, black men, brown men.
Hmm.
I believe that they look at our children as adults.
Hmm.
A 16-year-old black boy and a 16-year-old white boy, one will be treated as a man, the other will be treated as a child.
Yeah.
I cannot ignore what goes on constantly on my news. Not just my timeline or my FYP on TikTok or some Instagram post. I'm talking about the news. You cannot, and those that willfully ignore the fact that they are biased,
Hmm.
that if you have two young men the exact same age committing the exact same crime, but the only difference between the two young men is the color of their skin,
Yeah.
You can look it up, Google it. It's free. The police are biased. They will stop a
And
car
that's
full
what
of
I'm
black
about.
boys. They will stop a car full of black boys going the speed limit before they stop a car full of white boys doing 80 and a 45.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
stop a group of young black men walking down the street laughing and having a good time before they will stop a group of white boys walking down the street with guns in their hand.
Hmm. They treat them like they're always up to something.
They will body slam teenage little girls to the ground because they're having an argument.
Hmm.
These things happen. It's not that I'm making it up. It's not that I'm sitting up here just because of this. No, these things happen. I believe the police are biased. I believe they have been set up in a culture of bias. I don't believe that we are treated fairly, but I know that children are not treated fairly. I know they're ignored and overlooked.
Hmm.
I know that it's their imagination. They didn't understand. That's not what he meant. Are you sure that's what happened? And for every little girl that doesn't report it, there's a little girl that's taken and doesn't make it home. There's a little boy that's taken and doesn't make it home.
Yeah.
For every one that we know about, there are thousands that we don't know about. And the predators get away with it because instead of changing the rules and regulations, the statutes, and the laws that are surrounding molestation, pornography, not pornography, pedophilia, and things like that, we want to
Hmm.
argue the semantics.
Hmm.
We want to go back and forth with these words, but the reality is the laws need to be stricter. There needs to be more checks and balances when it comes in to making sure our babies make it home at night. Our children are different. We walked home.
Yeah.
We were 6 and 7 years old, had a key around our neck, opening the door because our parents didn't get off till an hour after we got out of school.
Yeah. Hmm.
We walked to the bus stop together. We played outside all day. Ain't no telling where the hell we was.
Hmm.
And don't get it twisted. That shit was happening back then too.
Yeah.
But that was the wild, wild west back then. You mess with kids, you liable to not make it home that day. That was back when they were shooting people in the courtroom.
And the neighbors kind of like knew where you were going, and kind of somebody kind of looked out like while you was, you know,
Exactly. Exactly. The
somebody
village
was
was
looking out.
villaging.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
village was villaging. Now, because you scared to say something to somebody kid, you scared to do something because every time you turn around, somebody's feelings get hurt. Before, the lady down the street, get your ass out that street. I'm gonna tell your mama,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the hell you going?
Mhm.
You scared to say something to somebody kid because you never know how they'll take it. Understand that as times change, uh, political correctness came about, and you can't say this, and the third. I get all that. I get all that. But the reality is that our kids need us to go back to when we was hollering out of windows and making sure our eyes was on everybody's baby, not just our own.
Yeah.
Because we have developed a culture in which it's your kid, not mine, predators are thriving.
Mhm.
The internet has given them unfettered access to our children. Your baby think that they're talking to another 9-year-old and they're talking to a 35-year-old man that is telling them it's okay to sneak out. I got you. I'll get my dad to come pick you up.
Hmm.
And they don't know any better because we're not giving our children real world stuff. We're giving them play. No.
Yeah. I was gonna say that too. Like, we gotta go back to teaching our kids how to protect themselves. Because
Or
I can remember,
yes, but not just how to protect themselves, but not being scared to come to us. Our
yes,
babies
yep.
babies do not want to talk to their parents because they
Hmm.
listen to how their parents talk about other people,
Hmm.
because they listen to how their parents talk about sex.
Hmm.
And I know you and I have various different views on sex. But the reality is, no, I didn't mean it ugly. You are a little more
I
conservative.
know.
You're a little more conservative on the conservative side. I'm a little more liberal on the because I believe that children need real world sex education. Now, I don't
Yeah,
need birds and bees. I don't need the stork. I don't need none of that shit. I need for you
right.
to actually talk and tell the children the reality. The reality is that the majority of sex is between people who want to do it and that's old enough to do it. But because we don't give our children the reality, we give
Hmm.
them things and abstracts. Because we don't tell our kids not just saying no to sex because it's hard to handle physically. We don't let our kids know the emotions attached to sex are something that, hell, we barely can take. As a
Yeah,
56-year-old woman, the emotions attached to emotions are something that are hard to quantify. And kids think that everything is that first love. Everything is just major to a child.
yeah.
Talk to your babies. Don't talk about people. Don't talk about other people's kids in front of your kids about how mannish they are, how fast they are, how she always up in a boy face, how she ain't never got no clothes on, how her mama a hoe. Stop doing that because then your child is going to look at you if something happens to them to where they feel unclean or they feel like that. They're not going to come to you. They're going to sit and suffer in silence.
Yeah, yeah,
And whoever's doing it to them is happy. Whoever's
yeah.
doing it to them is grateful that y'all are playing these games, playing these. Stop it. These
Hmm.
babies need to know. They need to know. I'm sorry. I don't
Hmm.
say sit up here and watch porn with your kids. I'm not talking about no dumb shit like that. I'm talking about talking to your babies, age appropriate as they get older. If your children ask you questions, please answer their questions with reality.
Yes.
Don't tell your babies that you don't need to know that. If they're asking, they need to know because children only ask questions about things they've been presented with. A child is not going to ask, a child is not like us. A child sees something, and if they don't understand it, they're going to ask somebody to explain it to them. A child hears something, if they don't understand it, they're going to ask them to explain it. So if your child is asking you a question related to sex, they have heard something or seen something they don't understand, and they're looking to you to explain it to them.
Hmm.
And then
I
you
know my
brush them.
niece.
Huh? Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, and that is so true. My niece's 13-year-old came to her and asked her, um, some girl has sent a naked picture of herself
Uh
to
huh.
their little football team.
Uh huh.
And so he asked his mom, he said, Mom, can I send, he said, what'll happen if I send a naked picture? And she said, well, who you trying to do that to? She's like, no, you don't do stuff like that, honey. And he was like, no, somebody sent it to us on our football team from her phone. And she naked. And my one friend, we was talking about, she was like, don't you send that picture out to nobody because you can get arrested for that. That's
And
child.
she's correct.
She was, and I had told my niece, I said, you mean they out here, arresting the kids because they
Yeah.
didn't share the picture that she was like,
Yeah.
Auntie, yes, they
Yeah.
arresting the kids. I was like, okay.
They can arrest a little girl for sending it. They can arrest that
Yeah,
13-year-old girl because she sent it. They can arrest any of the boys who actually who received it and sent it. Now,
yeah,
if they get pushy, they can arrest the little boys who received it and opened it and looked at it. Because there are
oh,
so many. When you get into a crime, there are different nuances, and there is a crime of sending child pornography. There's a crime of receiving child pornography.
yeah. There's a
Now,
lot
whether or
going
not
on.
the 13-year-old sent it to the 13, it don't matter if they both 13. The reality, but that's the warped reality. That's the difference. There was a little girl who sent it was a, I don't know, she was 12, 11 or 12. She sent a picture. I think her top was off. She wasn't, I don't even know if her top was all the way off. It might have been like she had a little sports bra. I don't know. But it was considered child. It was considered an inappropriate picture.
Mhm.
It was the one I said something about how she was 12 and she sent a picture to one of her friends, and the cops came to her to talk to her
Oh,
about the, yeah, y'all remember we were talking about that?
yeah,
And the,
yeah.
and
Okay,
yeah. So
yeah.
it's, they do, you see, you see what I'm saying? That proves my
Mhm.
point of how stupid the police are. Now you
Yeah.
gonna knock on the door at 12 a.m. to interrogate an 11-year-old, but you not gonna go pick up a 26-year-old with child pornography on his computer
Mhm.
because you said that's he said, she said. No, it's a computer sending y'all evidence. How about y'all go get a court order? Go down to the judge and say, "Hey, judge."
Mhm.
However you talk to the judge, "Hey, judge, the roommates brought the computer in and they said that this is on here. We need to look
Mhm.
at that. We need to see if it's on there. We need to
Mhm.
open this folder." Court order, boom, mouse click, boom. Oh shit. But you can go and try to interrogate an 11-year-old at 12 a.m. There needs, I don't know what needs to I don't, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. You see case after case of brutality and recklessness and just, I don't care.
Yeah. I remember getting followed home from school by this older white man. Um, I was, I think it was my first year of high school, and I had came home, and I would get home before my brother, and my mother would have to catch the bus home.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like the first one in the house, and then I would go to the bus stop and get him. And so I would come in, put my books and stuff down, and I had came in the house, and just as I had came in, I seen the man sitting in his car. And when I went up, because my mother always taught me to look around yourself.
Right,
And I seen him sitting in his car, and then as I went up on the porch, I seen him like tussling around a little bit. And as I put the key in the door, I could see him open up his car door. So I put a little rush on it, like I
right,
hurried up. And then all of a sudden, because it was the people downstairs door, and then it was our door, we lived upstairs. And then as I was going up the stairs, I could hear ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, like that. And I looked outside, and I'm like, ain't nobody, ain't nobody should be ringing this bell. That must be that man. So he kept ringing the bell. Then he started knocking, knocking, knocking. And then I called my mom. We had, house phones then.
right,
And I was like, Mom, I said, it's somebody knocking at the door. It's a man. And, I was telling her what I seen. He was in his car and blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, you don't open no door for nobody. I said, I know, I'm not like that. And she was like, what is he doing now? I said, he's standing out there. He looking up. He can up at the window. I think he seen me. She said, just ask him who is it and what he want. So I was like, my mother on the phone and she want to know who you is and what you want. And he was I know my mother. She's like, you had to say that. She was on the other end, talk. And he was like, just open the door. young lady like that. And I said, Ma, you hear that? He said, just open the door. And she said, tell him to get his so and so way. You about to call 911, whatever, like that. And he was like, so I don't care if you call the cops. Well, the cops didn't even come right away. And I was like, Ma, I said, it's getting closer to the time for me to go pick up my brother. And so she was like, don't, she said, I'm going to call over to the store and I'm going to have one of the guys to go and get him from the bus stop. She was like, you stay in that house. But that goes back to the community, how the community kind of looked out, you know. And my mother told the people at the store what happened. And so the one guy that worked there went and got my brother and had my brother to sit at the store until my mom got home. And then my mom came, you know. And do you know that man stayed out there? So he knew that once I got in that house, he knew at some point I had to come back out. He must have been watching.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the police came, and I don't know what they said to him or whatever, and he left. And I never had it was never another problem with anything. But I was scared. I was so scared, you know. So then from
Now you
there,
should
I
have got
wouldn't
the
go
police.
home. I would go to the store.
The police should have
Huh?
came. The police should have came.
Yeah, but they didn't come right away. Yeah, they didn't come right away.
And that's the problem
That was my
because it
thing.
wasn't urgent enough. It wasn't urgent. He
Yep.
hadn't done anything to you. The reality is he hadn't done anything to you. And
Mhm.
you were just scared.
Mhm. Yep.
But I can't
And that's what they
for the
told
life
my
of me.
mother too.
I can't for the life
Mhm.
of me understand why they still put protect and serve on the side of cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand it. Because you
You
don't
literally
protect.
got to say the G word
You don't
for them
protect.
to hurt
You come
other
along
people.
after. You don't serve
Mhm.
because you faced with a scared young girl and you want to have attitude. Attitude.
Mhm.
So put something else on the side of the car.
Mhm.
We here to
Serve
harass and shoot.
attitude.
We here to harass and
Serve
shoot.
attitude. You right.
I remember there was a time when they wasn't doing all that shooting. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, every time you turn around, somebody was getting shot in the back, shot in the front, shot
Mhm.
47 times, shot for going
But
for their wallet, shot for
you
holding
know
their
what?
cell phone,
My
shot for
mom.
stopping their car, huh?
I say, but my mom them used to say that back in the day, they had a couple of friends who said that when the police would arrest them, that they would tell them, get out. And if you can get away from me, just run on away from me. And she said that her one friend had told my brother and them as they got older, he was like, if you ever get arrested and they tell you to go ahead and run, don't you do it.
No,
So a lot of times when I hear like about these young guys getting shot in their back and all of that stuff, I be wondering, that be coming back to my mind, like, is they still doing that stuff? Like
they're not even
telling
arresting them anymore. They're not even making it
people,
into the car.
yeah,
They're not even
yeah,
arresting them anymore. That's the killing part.
yeah.
There was a there was a guy who was in the back seat of a police cruiser with his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Hmm.
The police said he shot himself in the chest.
Mm,
Now you know
girl,
what?
bye, girl, bye.
Now you know what? I'm going to assume that everybody understands that how hard it is to shoot yourself in the chest from the back
Hmm.
with your hands tied behind your back. It's hard to shoot
Hmm.
yourself in the chest with your hands tied behind your back from the front. Back.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? You know what the killer part is? They got away with it.
Wow.
They got away with it.
You
The
see?
young man, the 21-year-old young man, the autistic man who had his headphones in and didn't hear when he was giving commands, when the police was giving him commands, he was just walking down the street singing and dancing. He wasn't bothering anybody.
Right.
They were just acquitted for killing him because he didn't hear the commands. Or the dude that fell asleep in the Taco Bell parking lot because they tapped on the window and scared him awake. It looked like he was going for the gun. He was drunk. He was passed out in his car. You know, they were fearing for their life.
Wow.
I don't understand how people can hear that and continue to go, they have a hard job. They need to be committed. No, they don't. That's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Their job. As a bartender, I would have got more problems messing up my job than they do.
Mm-hmm.
People are scared of the police, and not in a good way. Criminals ain't scared of them because crimes still happen. Criminals are not scared of the police. Actual real criminals committing crimes are not scared of the police. They're not scared of police, the FBI, the CIA, the NBS, the CBS. They ain't scared of none of them
Mm-hmm.
because it is not them that get fucked up. It is civilians. It is regular, everyday. It is the crackhead. It is the junkie. It's the dude that spray paint the wall. It's the girl that talk a lot of shit. Those are the ones that are getting killed and getting hurt by the police. It's the homeless people who don't have anywhere to live. But you come harass them out of their sleep because you know what? They shouldn't be sleeping under that tree.
Yeah, it's a lot of that here. Yeah.
But I don't understand how you feel like you're doing something.
And now, do you know they gotta pay to stay in the shelter, the homeless shelters and stuff
How
now?
you pay what?
Yeah,
What you paying with? What you paying with? Monopoly
they
money?
they
They
got
have-
this new thing.
But you know
Yeah,
what? You know what? America is what it is. And the
yeah.
reality is that I used to say I don't think I would live anywhere else, but as I got older,
Hmm.
you know, I it is what it is. And I guess I don't live a lifestyle to where I worry about things like that. But excuse me, that doesn't stop me from worrying about other people.
That's right.
Doesn't stop me. I have an 18-year-old son, about to be
That's right.
19.
Right.
He works. He walks to work, which is taking 3-4 minutes to get to work. That's how close it is.
Okay.
He goes to school, which is actually
Right.
right behind us too. Takes a little bit longer, but he
Hmm.
got friends and stuff.
Hmm.
But I fear when he's not here, not because I'm scared he's gonna be in an accident or scared he's gonna get caught up in a drive-by or a gang shoot. I'm scared that the police gonna pull him over and he's gonna be the only little black boy in the car.
Hmm.
That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared he's gonna be walking home from work one night and he look like he ain't supposed to be in this neighborhood.
Hmm.
That's what I'm scared of. And I shouldn't be scared of that.
Hmm.
I should be glad that the police are police and doing their job. I shouldn't be scared that if my son gets confronted by one, he might not make it home because I see all these other parents having to bury their babies. But in the same token, I can't count on those same police officers that would hear my baby up to go find his murderer if it wasn't them. They're excuses. I can't do this. I can't go there. I can't look at this. I can't. And they have them. But do your job. Well, we didn't look there when we first got here. Why not? What else were you doing? Why didn't you look there? Well, we didn't bag that. We didn't think it was important. Everything's important.
Yes.
Why you didn't stop that man from leaving the scene? Oh, he didn't look like he belonged. He didn't look like he had anything to say. Do you know how many times I've heard out of their mouth, out the police mouth on TV? I don't think they realize they're saying it. 2 months prior, I'm gonna go back. 2 months prior to this little girl going missing, they had a computer with images that would have sent this boy to jail if they just did their job. That's it. I'm not asking you to do anything else. I'm not asking a police officer or a detective or an agent or I'm not asking you to go out of your way. I'm not asking you to climb mountains. I'm not asking you to move them. I'm just asking you, please do your job. These mamas and daddies are bearing their babies. And I'm not talking about their teenagers. I'm talking about they bearing their babies, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Do your job.
Oh,
Stop,
hey, Leilani. Hey,
stop
Elder
making
Bird.
it
Oh,
scary for children, for women, for young women to come and stop making it feel like they did something when they come to report a crime. This person hurt me. This person attacked me. This person did this to me. Well, what were you doing? Why were you there?
mhm,
How did they get there? Why were y'all in the same place together?
mhm.
How about you go get him and ask him why he did it
Yeah.
while it's still fresh? Why are you waiting days? We don't have enough evidence, but you could talk to me any kind of way.
Mhm,
That's what I don't get. We don't have enough evidence to talk to them. You could talk to me any old kind of way you want to. You could pull
mhm,
somebody over in a car because you having a bad day, but you can't go talk to somebody I just told you assaulted me.
mhm.
I don't understand. Make that make sense. You can lie and pull somebody over saying, I'm investigating a crime. Do you know I watch TikTok after TikTok of somebody of a cop telling somebody that they stopped on walking down the street, I'm investigating a crime. You look like the guy that I'm investigating. You sound like the description of the person we're looking for. I hear that. I'm investigating a crime. But you can't go knock on the door and say, hey, can I talk to so and so? Not 3 days later, not a week later. You can't go get him right now while my evidence is still fresh on him.
Mhm.
See how he's acting? See what he say. So that maybe the next girl won't have to come and tell you that.
Mhm.
I'm I have too many children that I love that I would do anything for this not
Mhm.
to be something that pisses me off.
Mhm.
Parents, help your babies. Give them a place to come. Give them a safe place. Give them you. Give them your undivided attention. Listen when they talk to you. Don't
Mhm.
make an environment for them to be scared to talk to you.
That's right about anything.
Don't talk about people in front of your kids.
Mhm.
Don't say nothing in front of your kids you don't want your kids to say in front of somebody else. Don't call their little friends fast, mannish, hoish. Don't talk about them always being up in a little boy face. These is kids. Why can't kids play together? Stop making everything sexual. Because if you make everything sexual, when the sexual stuff happens, they won't know the difference. Playing with the little boy down the street is not the same as the little boy down the street putting his hand up your shirt. I mean, down your shirt or up your pants. That's not the
That's,
same.
that's right.
Well, when I grew, I hate to go back to when I was growing up, and I know that's a different time, but everybody played together. Now, eventually, when girls started looking like girls and boys started, we didn't play the same way together. We stopped playing together. We separated on our own
Mm-hmm.
because boys became icky and girls became not icky. We separated on our own. But stop making everything that boys and girls do together sexual, because when it comes down to it, it does them a disservice. You're not helping your kids. Telling her she can't play basketball with Sam. You're not helping her.
Mm-hmm.
You're not making her safe. Make sure she understands that there's a difference between playing and assault. Make sure she understands that her body is her body, and no one, and I mean no one, is entitled to it.
That's right.
Not just her, he. I'm just using her because saying
Mm-hmm.
him, her is a lot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When I say her, I'm talking about all children, male and female, girls and boys.
That's right.
Make sure your children's body, that they know that no one is entitled to touch them. Make sure they know the difference between a good and a bad touch. Don't make every time. I can't for the life of me be married. I can't imagine having a husband and having a daughter and my husband not being able to give my baby a bath.
Mm-hmm.
That's his daughter. If
Mm-hmm.
you marry somebody that you feel your children questionable around, why you
Mm-hmm.
having babies with him?
That's right.
He didn't just get questionable. I wish people stop telling that lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stop telling that lie, because that's a lie. He didn't just get questionable. He been questionable. He did questionable shit to you. He asked you to do questionable stuff when y'all were dating. Your spidey sense was tinkling. But your desire to be in love and have this picture perfect, happy fairy tales family overruled your spidey sense. And now you sitting up here, won't let your daughter's father give her a bath.
Mm-hmm.
You barely want to give her a bath because you ain't got sense enough to explain the difference between giving your baby a bath and something sexual from somebody who's trying to hurt her. So she don't know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody does it, she don't say nothing. Everything ain't sexual. That does a disservice to your children when you don't give them reality. Let them know the difference so that when they're presented in a situation, they may not 100% know how to handle it, but they know my mama has told me that this is right and this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell my mama because I know that this is wrong. If everything is wrong and you don't have a safe space for your baby, they'll never tell you what's going on.
Mm-hmm. My niece is 2 years old. She going through a little something at her daycare. You know, they
Yeah.
got the daycares where you can film now. I
Uh-huh.
mean, where you can see into the daycare what's going on with your child.
Right, right,
Um, but at certain times, they shut it down. But you get like 45 minutes.
right.
So my one niece, when she's working, she gave the other one permission. And what
Uh,
they usually do is they tape what's going on,
right,
and then they'll share the videos out to us. So my niece was saying that it's this one little boy that's the same age as my little niece, who's 2. But he's every time my niece come in, he's always trying to give her toys. He wants to play with only her, different things like that. And my little
right,
niece, you can see she be telling him to, like get away. She be running from
right.
him. And so the one day, the little boy had came over to her, and she was over in the corner going around in a circle, I guess trying to make herself dizzy because kids love to do
Yeah.
that. And so he came over there to stop her, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so you can see her kind of like push his hands away, and then she went over to the other corner and kept going around in a circle. Here come the little boy again. So then she went to another part where it was like a little kitchen area that they got with the little foods and stuff.
Hmm.
Here come the little boy with a little teddy bear thing, like a little. It looked like a teddy bear with some wooden car things with the little motors, wheels on the feet or whatever. And she took it and she knocked it out of his hand, and I guess it hit the little boy's foot, and he was crying or whatever. So the mother came in and wanted to talk to my niece. And so my niece told her, she was like, first of all, your son, I don't know what his attachment is to my daughter, but I have videos where my daughter is trying to get your son away from her.
Right.
And so the mother said, well, the problem is your daughter didn't have to hit him. So now they had went back and forth, and she's like, but your son should just leave my daughter alone. So now they were questioning the teachers. How come the teachers aren't separating them? And now the teachers are saying they don't separate the kids. They don't, they're trying to teach the kids to be together and stuff. They're not trying to separate them and stuff, because then they grow up thinking that they have to be separated. So
That's
it's
an
just
excuse.
like,
A little boy following a little girl around is
hmm
different than separating the kids when they
hmm
doing normal kitty shit.
hmm
If this little girl is focusing, if this little boy is focusing on your niece,
hmm
then you figure out why. You get the parents in there and you stop
yes,
before it escalates. These
yes,
excuses that people have to not do their job burn my. It irks
hmm
me.
hmm
Don't separate the children arbitrarily. Yes.
hmm
But if you see specific children focusing on other children,
that's right. And
you
that's what my
fix the
niece told me.
situation before it gets any further.
Yeah. She said, I don't know what it is about this little boy that my daughter, I have the video, my daughter does not want to be bothered with this little boy. And I mean, even for Halloween, when they was all dressed up, my little niece sat in the middle of the floor screaming, crying. She did not want that little boy. And so what the other teacher did was came and picked my niece up, and she was like walking her around and kind of like kept my niece with her. And you could still see the little boy like, why you got her going with you, looking at the teacher like, you know, and my niece is just like, I can't believe this little boy. What is going on? you know.
I
And
mean, you never know.
my niece is a Pisces. I'm just saying, okay. So she's,
You don't like who you
she's
don't like. We
trying.
don't like who we don't like. So this is what it is.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
don't,
the mother of the baby is a Pisces, so I be trying to keep my niece down because that temper can rise quickly, and she could give people, some words. Huh?
it ain't gonna help. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
know,
a
I
Pisces.
know,
I'm a Mars
I know.
Pisces. It's not
And
gonna.
she is too. She is too.
It's not.
March 14th. She's March
March
14th.
March 13th. There's no fixing that.
I know.
Because no, that's an excuse. I hate excuse. I hate people making up excuses to not do their job.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Mhm.
I hate that.
She's like, Auntie,
I
it's
don't have.
just the way that they can make sure this is not happening. I said, I know, baby. I know. I said, but you might have to just go talk to somebody else, or even see if Well, you can't really put her in a different because that's their age group. From 2 to 3 or almost 4, or whatever. They're in one classroom
Yeah,
and the other one.
yeah. But I have
It's
come
like,
to realize that the educational system, the policing
mhm,
system, these things are not for our, they don't help.
mhm,
They our kids are left just hanging and dangling in the wind. Teachers are
mhm,
left out there dangling in the wind. You have the teachers that care, but then you got the
mhm,
teachers that don't. And kids get either way.
mhm,
It's just mind boggling. It is so hard to. I,
mhm,
I look at it's not school's job to teach your children 100% of everything.
mhm.
It just doesn't happen because
That's what
some
I was
stuff
telling my niece. I said, somewhere that little boy is learning that he can force, it's okay for him to force himself on people, to like them, to play with them.
a lot
Maybe
of
he
people
has
feel that way.
siblings. Yeah, so maybe he has siblings at home, and instead of the mom saying, "Leave," little Johnny, go sit down. Don't leave Jacob alone. Maybe the mom says, "Oh, let him play with you. Go ahead and play with him." Somewhere that little boy is being taught it's okay to, even if people, it's
Don't
in
want
other
you.
words, yeah, don't want you around, that stays there. Somewhere he's being taught, it's it's something, because if they don't stop that behavior, he could grow up to be something different. Like, really, that stuff start young.
And you see it all the time.
Hmm.
Little girls think that they can. Little girls think that I should be able to play with that because I want it.
Hmm.
I should be able to take that toy because I want it, even if it's not mine. Because you're supposed to share.
Hmm.
You're supposed to play with me. I ain't never made Nick play with nobody, hug nobody, give nobody a kiss that he ain't want to from birth to now.
Hmm.
If you don't want to go, you ain't gotta go. That's his toy. He ain't gotta share it with you. That share shit. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
If my kid says he doesn't want to share the toy I went to the store and bought, he doesn't have to share the toy I went to the store and bought. How about, ma'am, you bring some toys with you next time, like we did.
Hmm.
Sharing is not caring. I know that's bad. I'm sorry. And growing up, I thought that that was what you're supposed to do. But the reality is that all children are not created equally. If all
Hmm.
children were taught equally that sharing is caring, then we could have a different conversation. But they're not. Some children are taught entitlement.
Hmm.
Some children are not taught at all. And
Yeah.
they commingle with the children that have been taught to share. Say yes, sir, no, sir, please, and thank you.
Hmm.
And our yes, sir, no, sir, please, and thank you children are the ones that get left out, get pushed to the side. Because everybody thinks what the other ones are doing is cute. It's funny. They're kids. Just let them do it. They kids. No. If my baby don't want to play with your baby, go to hell.
That's it.
I'm not gonna make my baby play with your baby. I'm not gonna make my baby play. Let this child play with their toy. And if your baby snatch my baby toy, I'm gonna snatch it out their hand, and I'm gonna snatch your ass if you come say something to me.
Yeah.
Teach your children how to be with other children, and guess what? You won't have to have this problem because children naturally want to play with each other.
Hmm.
But then it come that one kid that messed the energy up. It come that one kid that think everything is theirs. They have to be the center of attention. Everybody has to be their friend. And if your kid don't want to do it, then there's something wrong with them. Bullying starts in kindergarten. Bullying starts in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Because you allow your kid to do whatever they want to do, and then you send them out into the world thinking that the whole world is going to allow them to do what they want to do. No, sir. Not, no. Mm-mm. You're going to meet a parent like me, and your baby going to sit there looking confused, and so are you.
Yeah.
It's just a toy will go bad. They kids, and
Mm-hmm.
my baby want to play with yours. Well, my baby don't want to play with yours.
Yeah. That's what I told my niece. I said somewhere the mother, I believe the mother of that little boy thought that you should make your baby play with her son. Teach your baby that it's okay to play with him. Even though you don't want to, play with him. My niece was,
And that's where it
mm-mm.
starts.
I
That's
was
where it
like,
starts.
no, that's right.
Telling
Because,
your
mm-mm,
baby to do it even if they don't want to do it.
mm-mm,
Like when you
no,
take your child, your small child, to family functions around relatives they've never seen before
mm-hmm,
and won't see again in another 10 or 20 years. Go give
mm-hmm,
so and so a hug. Go give so and so a kiss. Go see, go hang. No. As soon as my
mm-hmm,
baby say, I don't want to, you don't have to.
mm-hmm.
Well, you're teaching them wrong. No, I'm teaching them correctly.
That's right.
Because relatives don't mean shit. It's a whole lot of people in the ground put there by their mama, daddy, cousin, uncle. So no, no, thank you. Because it's way too many people ignore that uncle. It's way too many people ignore that stepson. It's way too many people ignore that third husband. It's way too many people are comfortable with their 12-year-old hanging out with 17, 18-year-old little girls. It's way too many people don't let that woman know, get your hands off my baby.
That's
It's way
right.
too many people comfortable in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
So if my baby says, no, I don't want to, my baby's 18. If he says, Mama, I don't think I'm going to do that. Immediately, I'll be like, oh, okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to go there. All right. Uh-uh. You think my grandma come home and tell me this little girl keep messing with her?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to immediately remind them that I was born in 1967. I don't give a shit about your political correctness.
Okay.
I don't give a
Mm-hmm.
damn about your gentle parenting. I don't give a shit about not telling him no. I don't want to stifle his creativity. I'm gonna stifle his life. So you better stifle his creativity with somebody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm gonna just let anybody come in here and hug and touch and rub and say, that's my baby? No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's right.
It's not your baby. My sister used to tell me all the time when Nick was baby, you watch him too close. I said, well, guess what, bitch? Somebody take him out see. I didn't understand what she meant. You always looking for him. I'm supposed to. Ain't that my job?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my face. We got all these excuses. You know, I got one excuse. I'm a little crazy. That's why I said two things can be true at once. I want to protect my child from the world. I want to bubble wrap him and do voodoo spells so nothing ever bad happens to him. But I want him. I do. I wish there was some kind of sprinkle, some powder I could sprinkle on him or something to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to him.
I know that's right.
But I want him to experience the world. And I know that with those experiences come bad and good.
Yeah.
I know that he has to learn lessons.
Yeah.
I know that every day is not going to be sunny and bright and fluffy. And I want him to do those things, but I also want him to know that he got a safe place to land
Hmm.
when it do get bad. I want him to live and experience, but I don't want him to experience shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's parenting.
Hmm.
But he know he can come down here and tell me the stupidest stuff. If he can't tell me, he can tell my wife.
Hmm.
He know that I will listen to his ideas, no matter how much I want to look at him and go, "What the hell are you talking about?"
And where did that come from? You'd be like, oh,
I will listen to his songs because he likes music, and he's some of them are good, some of them are trash. But I
okay.
listen to him because it's my job. Do I understand
Yeah.
him? No, I am 56 years old. No, I don't understand 18-year-old music. It sounds like gobbledygook.
Yeah, my niece was into that. Like, I guess I don't know. We called it hard rock, but they call it something else now. I don't.
It's
I
all
don't know.
kind of baby. I don't even try to figure out what nothing is. I just go
Yeah,
with it. So, but do I
she
do
was.
that? Yes.
Yeah,
If he something
some
going
of the
on,
songs. Yeah, some of the songs I actually would hear her playing it while she'd be getting dressed for school, and I was like, yeah. So I would, every now and then I was kind of look forward to that song.
look, every now and again, he did a song. He made him and his friend, him and his friend, they did a song, and it was fire. But he said he ain't like it. He said it wasn't what he wanted. I was like, shoot, you should upload that. Let's get a little, but he was like, mine went right. I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm like, it was good. So keep
Yeah,
going.
that would have made a nice 45. Now they looking at you
You
real
know,
crazy. A
I
45?
don't know what
What
the
is
hell a
oh,
45 is. You just confused everybody. Nobody know what a 45 is. They think you said something about a gun just now. They don't know what a
oh
45
yeah.
is.
Is she talking about the president? No, they might think about 45 no more.
But yeah, and then sometimes he'll play something and I go, and then he'll be like, Mom, I'm cussing. I'm like, sir, I know
Ooh.
whose child it is. I'm like, sir, here's the thing, all jokes aside, I know whose child he is.
Right.
So I can't sit up there and he doesn't do it in front of me unless it's like on a
No.
song he'd be playing. And
Right.
he now he's not gonna do it in front of me, but I know who child it is.
Right.
I, I it would
But
be
just that he acknowledges you
so
to
you like,
tell
Mama,
you.
Mama, I'm cussing in this song. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, go ahead, Mama. I'm saying
Right.
something. He like, or he'll go, Mama. I don't do none of this shit because I be at home. But I'm saying he ain't say shit. But he said, Mama,
Right.
I don't do none of this stuff. But it's just a song, okay?
Right.
I'm like, all right, and I'm like, cool. But but that took time. And it took trial and error. And it took me being scared that teaching him what I felt he needed to know was sometimes too much. But then
Mhm.
in the same token, if I don't teach him, will it be enough?
Yeah.
It is the dichotomy of being a mom that you think that you're doing too much. And sometimes in the same token, you flip that coin over and shit, did I do enough? Did I tell him enough? Did I give him enough? Did I hug him enough? Did I tell him I loved him enough? Did I spank him enough? Did I punish him enough? Was I strict enough? Was I too lenient? It's the killing part of never not knowing and just hoping that it all works out in the end.
Yeah.
But that's what you want your kids to do. Because one day something can happen to your baby. Can I play a clip of the song? Go ahead. You keep it.
You mute your mic. All right, I'm gonna play a small clip. Mute your mic, Dave. Hold up. Yeah. All right.
playing tricks all on my mind like it's sorcery. Anywhere, anytime, she is there with me. Satan symbols so sublime, yeah, they talk to me. But I got Jesus on my side, yeah, he walk with me. And little shorty did her time, so she safe with me. And I got money in my mind, so it's time to eat.
All right, hold on. Wait a minute, something with yours. Hold on. I'm gonna take you off. Hold on. You there, Krista?
Yeah, I'm here. I had muted mine too.
All right. Let me try this again.
Know you got the best of me. I open up her legs like it was out to me. She playing tricks all on my mind like it's sorcery. Anywhere, anytime, she is there with me. Satan symbols so sublime, yeah, they talk to me. But I got Jesus on my side, yeah, he walk with me. And
Could you hear it, Krista?
Yeah, I heard it. That's nice. Tell them, can I have the rights to that song? I'll sell it.
She done clicked out some kind of way. She broke it.
Oh Lord.
She done
Come
broke
back.
the, she done broke the press.
I'm trying. Can y'all hear me?
That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I like that was what I was talking about. He said it went all the way right home. I'm like, all right, but you should do something with that. But then that's him. But
Jesus.
that's you. I know that we done got a little bit off. We done got off topic, but topic. But
Yeah.
we need to give our kids as strict as we are with them. That's the exact same amount of soft we need to be with them
Yeah.
because they need to know that yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble, but if I'm in trouble, my mama got my back. If I'm in trouble,
Right.
my daddy got my back. I know I might get in
Mhm.
trouble if I do this, but I ain't never in so much trouble that they ain't got my back.
Right. Hmm.
And young and I'm sure it happens to young men, but just statistically, it happens to young women more than men. Our daughters need to know that we're going to believe them.
Yes.
You need to teach your baby, not my tinkle tinkle, my sparkle thingy. You need to have your baby know that they're not supposed to touch me here. They're not
Hmm.
supposed to touch me here. I'm not supposed to hug and kiss on this person. I'm not supposed to kiss. He's not supposed to kiss me. She's not supposed to touch me.
Hmm.
As soon as they can ask you something about sex, give them real answers.
Hmm.
And don't get mad with them. Who telling you about sex? What you in there doing? You know how crazy that shit sounds to me? Do you know how much I want I hate that. I hate
Hmm.
that parent. I hate that parent.
Hmm.
I could say I don't like him, but I hate that parent because I know what it's doing to the baby.
Hmm.
What you asking me that for? What you doing that for? You don't need to know about that. Who told you that? What you been doing? Who you been doing it with?
Hmm.
Who would want to tell somebody that talks to them like that?
No, your tone already is saying that you disapprove. So they like, sure, I ain't saying nothing.
I get that a lot of us were brought up with parents that whooped our ass. A lot of us were brought up with parents that beat us because they got beat. A lot of us were brought up with parents that didn't have the same educational level as we have now.
Hmm.
And sometimes that affected how they treated and talked to us. I understand a lot of us grew up with parents that had different belief systems, religious beliefs than we have now. I get all that.
Yeah.
Don't get that to your kids. Don't sit up there. I listen to shows every day. Parents get on here talking about, well, that's how I was raised. That's how I raised mine. Well, you suck. So why do you think that your kid's not gonna suck if you raised them the way you were raised?
Mhm.
You suck. You have excuse after excuse after excuse to why you haven't been in your child's life for 17 years,
Mm.
18 years, 20, 30 years, 5 years, hell, last year.
That's crazy.
Excuse after excuse after excuse. But at the end of the day, the kid feels like it's their fault. We
Mhm.
feel like it's our fault that you treat us the way you treat us. As children growing up, we didn't know any better. As I got older, I realized that maybe if I'd have known different things, I would have reacted different ways. Maybe if this had happened differently, but I can't go back. I can't go back in a time machine and and undo it. I can only not send it off into the next generation. I can only not give it. Now, there are certain things that translate, but there are certain things that don't.
Mhm.
If you were scared of your parents but still did messed up everything they told you not to do, what they was doing wasn't working. You was just scared of your parents like you scared of a stranger. Come go with me. Feel me what I just said. If you were scared of your parents but still did the same shit they told you not to do, you wasn't scared of your parents. You was just scared.
Right. Hmm.
And that doesn't help. Little girls have to deal with their parents' love lives. Kids, not little girls. Children have to deal with their parents' love lives, with different people coming in their life. And depending upon how your parent is, everybody, this your new daddy. This your new mama. For everybody who has told a child that, the child is thinking, that no, no, it's not.
Hmm.
But I can't say nothing.
Hmm.
Dropping your infant off with some dude you met a couple of months ago, talking about that's my boyfriend.
I know. Oh,
Dating a prisoner and then moving him in the house with you and your daughter.
yeah. Or even you and your son. Because you got to watch your
Yeah.
little boys too.
Oh, make no mistake about it. But like I said,
Yeah.
it just happens more often. Just when the rules are dating. Having women around that not just that will do something to your kids, that will do nothing to your kids.
Hmm.
Women will have a tendency to be like, I don't want your kid around. Dating somebody who wants you to figure out something to do with your child. What you gonna do with him? Bitch, what?
Right.
What you gonna do with him? I listened to a woman tell her fiance, I want to say he asked her to marry, that she didn't want to get to know his 13-year-old son. That's his relationship. She said that on TV for everybody to hear. That's his relationship. You go get a girlfriend so you can have a babysitter. So you can leave the house when you feel like it. You don't know whether or not you don't know whether or not she cares about your child or not. Ignoring a child sometimes can be just as painful.
Yeah.
Y'all get that? You don't have to put your hands on somebody to hurt them, especially a child.
Yes. That's good. Yeah. Because they feel
Especially a
what you're
child.
feeling. Yeah.
A child is all feelings. It's
Yep.
all emotions.
Hmm.
That's what it is. You don't have to put your hands on somebody to hurt them, especially not kids. Think about that, y'all. I just that's my boyfriend, but that's not your child's father.
Hmm.
Well, that's my girlfriend, but that's not his mother. Will she love me? Does she love him? Well, he never did that to me. You're 25. She's 5.
Hmm.
He would never do that. How do you know? You met him as an adult, not as a child.
Hmm.
What kills me is when people say that he never did it to me. You a grown ass woman. He wasn't touching grown ass women. He touching kids.
Right.
So why would he do it
Right.
to you?
Hmm.
You sound dumb. You're making an excuse for somebody who has put their hands on your child. I don't understand how these people make it to court, truthfully. It's too many how to get away with murder shows on TV for me. I don't get it. I don't know how these people make it to court. I wanted, he wouldn't stop screaming. He wouldn't stop crying. So I had to make him stop. I was playing my game.
Oh, that stuff be crazy to me.
I just wanted him to sleep. I wanted to go out with the girls. I just gave him some melatonin, a little Benadryl. I didn't mean to shake him so much. I just wanted him to stop crying. I'm sick. I don't mean to touch children. I'm sick. I have an illness. Help me. I will help you into your next life. I sure will. I will help you turn into a ghost. Thank you for asking. I need
Mm-mm.
help. And then here come the parents of the perpetrators, of the predators. My son would never do that. That's just not the kind of man he is. I didn't raise him to do that. You must have, Sally, because it's the 13th child that said he did it. So clearly you raised him to do something wrong. That's not the kind of, she's not that kind of girl. She would never. She loves children. She might love her own children, but them ain't her kids.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of person I raised. That's what I hear all the time. I watch, y'all know what I watch. Y'all know I watch more and all that. And all I ever hear when the mamas get on there with the son who is coming, who is working on a 13th paternity test, that's not the kind of man I raised. I didn't raise a man like that. Yes, you did. This is third time or more, ma'am. I know your name. I know your name, ma'am. You did. You raised. That's who you raised. And in the same token, what kills me, which is why I say women more than I say men when I talk about victims. In the same token, the same mamas will come on Maury or other shows like that and call their daughter a whore. Tell her she wrong. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. If you keep your legs closed.
Mm.
Now imagine being 5 and hearing that. He loves me. He would never do anything to you. Ain't that a black guy you working on, mama?
Mm.
Police just dropped him off for last time he went to jail. You would rather give up your kids than give up your partner, your man or your woman, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband or your wife. You'd rather make excuses. Children are not coming home. Hear me. When you ignore what your children do and you validate their violence, you validate their mental illness, you allow them to do things because you think that's being a good parent, you sending them out there in the world to hurt somebody else's kid.
Right.
The whole reason we here, show I watched last night before last, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The mother of the boy with the computer
Mm-hmm.
who killed the little girl,
Yeah.
his mama had him in that environment since he was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Before she became the upstanding citizen that she is now, she let a 58-year-old man marry her and her 8-year-old daughter because that's what he said he needed to do.
Oh.
They took her kids away from her for a little while, but eventually she got them back. This is the environment he grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't raise him like that. That is not him. He would never. Somebody put that on his computer. Somebody else did. That is not. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't listen to your kids, man. I just, uh, I don't know, y'all.
I remember growing up, we had a neighbor like that. The lady's boyfriend was very protective over her daughter. And we used to always, my mother, I would tell my mom, why you won't ask her? Because the lady and my mom used to go to bingo together. And I used
Uh-huh.
to be like, why her daughter can't never play with us or come over while y'all at bingo? And she would, so my mom said, I'm going to ask her, you know. And every time she'd be like, oh, my daughter, you know, he don't, he says she on punishment. She can't come out. But you're leaving him, it's okay if you leave your daughter at home on punishment with your boyfriend, but you can't let your daughter come over here with my daughters and
But why
just
was your
hang
daughter
out
on
while
punishment?
we at dinner.
But why was
Yes,
she on
my mother,
punishment?
her man was always saying that girl was on punishment. And the girl didn't even do nothing. She was quiet. She was real quiet. And her mother started saying stuff like, oh, Anna, she's a little sneaky. And my mother was like, okay. She was like, well, kids, kids do stuff. Kids, And she's like, oh, no, you don't know Anna. And my mother kept saying, I don't like that. My mother would tell us.
I would
She'd
have
be
sent the
like,
people on her. No, I'm sorry.
yeah, my mother used to say,
I'm right.
I don't like her saying, she's like, I don't like what I'm seeing. And that girl always in the house with that man like that. And come to find a couple years later, here come the girl going down the street, belly getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, she
He was
ended
the
up having a
daddy.
baby. The mama's boyfriend was the father.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the mama probably said, it was her fault.
Hmm.
She enticed him. She made him do it. He wouldn't have did it if she wouldn't have been walking around in her clothes and playing with her dolls.
Yeah, that was
You be on
crazy.
to
Mm-mm. We've seen so much like growing up as kids, and we always lived in a community where it was like not just one race of people. It was like you know,
yeah,
different
different people.
races. So you know, but it was always mostly a lot of white families.
Was Anna black or white?
And the mother and the daughter was white, and the man was black. Her boyfriend was black. I'll never forget. The mama's name was Barb, the man's name was Tony, and the little girl's name was Anna. Hmm.
When you become somebody's mama or daddy, immediately there's nobody more important in the world to you than that child.
That's right. I believe
Your
that.
wants, desires, and needs, they fall back.
Hmm.
Because the babies didn't ask to be here. You chose to bring them here.
Yeah.
And now you got to raise them.
I don't even have kids. I only got my nieces, but them my little hearts. And they ain't nothing auntie won't do for them. Ooh, I can't even imagine how I can only imagine how a mother feels, that you didn't carry that child and they're here and watch them grow up and then nah. Oh.
When something happens to your kid,
Hmm.
no matter how small it is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
Hmm.
you feel like everything you did was wrong.
Wow.
You feel like it was your fault. And you feel like you have wronged your baby because you didn't protect them and you didn't make sure that they never scraped their knee, never bumped their head, and never cried.
Yeah.
And that's stupid. I know it is. I mean, it is. It is. Because kids do that. That's how they learn. They fall, they get back up. You
Yeah.
tell them it's going to be okay. You did your job. But when something happens to your kid, you feel like I was at work one day,
Hmm.
and in the first apartment we lived when I moved to Virginia, the kids, a bunch of kids, a lot of kids. It was a mixed community. And they were out playing, and somebody shot Nick with a BB gun. Right
Hmm.
now, when the call came to me, all I heard was Nick was shot. I didn't hear BB gun. I didn't hear he all right. That's all I heard.
Hmm.
Brittany comes pick me up. I'm shit. I don't know the words. My brain broke.
Right. I can imagine.
My
Ooh.
brain was broke. While I was waiting, I was because at the time I wasn't driving because at the time we only had one car, and I was getting off after baby, so I wasn't driving. So sometimes I would take the bus home because it was right in the street. So I was just waiting on the bus. It didn't take long.
Hmm.
But I get the call, and it feels like forever because Brittany's coming to get me. It feels like forever.
Hmm.
And I'm stuck. I don't know what to say. I'm just sitting there and I'm trying not to cry and I'm trying not to be mad. And my brain is everywhere. I don't know anything. In that moment, not knowing, not knowing how he was, I didn't know anything.
Hmm.
I barely knew how to get up and get in the car. It was just like, I can't explain it. Get there, Brittany driving, she going fast, driving. Police are there. They fuss because Brittany driving fast through the little neighborhood. Brittany say something to her. He say something to Brittany. Brittany scream, "Have that shot!" And now I look back, I'm like, y'all don't want to play by Brittany and Nick. Now y'all calm down.
Right.
'Cause that's his real mama. Of course. But so we get in, and I found out that he's okay. He was shot in the side with a BB gun. But
Oh.
nobody would let me go to the house to where the people are, to where the parents are. Baby said no. Nobody would tell me where they are. I'm like, where they live. And then people are talking. I said, y'all acting like I hear y'all. Where does his parents live? Man, we can't tell you that. Sir, I'm gonna find out. So you can either stay here and make sure there's no violence, or make sure you can put me in the back of the car when there is violence. I don't know what I was saying. I said, I'm going to go to the house, sir. Don't go to the house, ma'am. Man, sir. Oh, look here. I understand you're doing your job, whatever. I don't know what I said. Because in my head, I said a lot of shit. I probably was just babbling. Because I know he was fine. I was looking at it. But in my head, 13 million things that went on. What if it had broke the skin? What if it had shot him in the eye? Put his eye out? What if it had broke a bone? What if it went in his ear, went in his brain, and scrambled him up? Anything in my head. I get us a BB gun. But you shot at my kid. Why the fuck your kid got a gun anyway? Of any type.
Right.
And if he does, why he don't know how to point it at somebody? So nobody would tell me who it was. That's number one. Nobody tell me which one it did it. Because Nick didn't know. Because they were all just playing. They were young. They were kids. 8, 9, 10. That area. I didn't want the kids. I did. Okay, that was a lie. I did. I wanted to push that kid on the ground. I did. I would have pushed that little kid on the ground. I would have. I would have pushed it real hard too. But I would have pushed it on the way to the door to punch a parent, whoever opened the door in the face. With no discussion, with no why you hit me, and walk off. This is my head. This is all I'm doing. I need to hurt. I need to hit somebody that shot my kid. I did. It wasn't rational. I understood that they could have been bigger badass than me. I'm not one of the people who think that I can whoop the world. I know I can't. Shit. I was 50. Bad knees. I wasn't running. That didn't mean I wasn't gonna fight either. I wasn't thinking about the fact that maybe they had a real gun. None of that. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? When your kid is involved in situations, when it is, you think that everything is wrong and nothing you did is right, and all you want is that he hurt, so now all must hurt. I don't understand parents that don't feel that way. I don't understand. If he's happy, I want everybody to be happy. If my baby's sad, everybody need to be sad. It is irrational. I understand that. I know it makes no sense, but I don't understand parents that are not like that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that just because my baby's sad, everybody ain't got to be sad. I know it's irrational, and I keep that shit to myself, but in my head, I'm like, why ain't everybody else sad? He's sad.
Right.
In my head, I keep that to myself.
Right.
These are the things that we think as parents. I know that just because he's sad, that little baby over there shouldn't stop laughing. That's crazy. But that don't mean shit when you're a parent. It's irrational. The irrational thoughts I used to have when I was pregnant, or what would I do if somebody did something to my baby? I had all these scenarios, and I sat with myself in those scenarios when I was pregnant, growing him and realizing that I had no problem doing any of them. I was sitting up there reaching for the reality that this child, I think children make parents little psychopaths. For real. I don't, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. And again, I know this is off topic, son. I'm not one of them forgive people. I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't. And it's not because I'm sure it has its place somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
just not with me. Because here's why I say that. If you did something that needs forgiveness, that meant you knew what you're doing was wrong. You knew what you were doing was wrong when you did it to me, and you did it
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Right.
So me forgiving you does nothing for me, because forgiving you does not take away what you did to me. It doesn't take away the memories. It doesn't take away the feelings. It doesn't take away
Right.
the aftermath.
That's right.
Forgiving you makes you feel better, and I'll be goddamned if you'll ever feel better because of me.
Right. Oh wait.
I will never understand, and I get it. I get that that's just some people's religious beliefs or moral. My compass don't go that way. I can't do it. I cannot. I for the life of me, I watch these court cases and I watch these places where people say, "I forgive the person that killed my kid. I forgive the person that hurt my daughter. I forgive the person that hurt my family. I had to forgive them for myself." No, I didn't have for myself. This person no longer exists.
Yeah.
You are nothing anymore. You don't exist anymore because forgiveness doesn't make you forget.
That's right.
And if you I remember you. If every time a noise makes me jump and I remember you. If every time I look at a picture and remember my child or my spouse or my best friend or my mama or my cousin or whoever you caused this problem with,
Mm-hmm.
then my forgiveness means nothing except to you. And again, I say, I will be goddamn if you will ever feel a moment of peace from me.
Yeah.
I will be a constant reminder of how much you fucked up. I will be a constant reminder of how what you did caused pain.
Yeah.
I will never understand that. When I saw that them folks forget that white cop who went into that man's house and shot him while he was sitting in his drawers eating ice cream because she thought she was in her own apartment, and he sit up they sit up here, I forgive you, and hugging. I would choke that bitch. I would be in jail next to that bitch.
Oh, mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I forgive what you did to my son.
Mm-mm.
Ain't no way in four hells. If
Mm-mm.
I'm even able to make clear sentences, if I'm even able to get out of whatever psychotic break I would have if something happened to my kid, trust me, the word forgiveness will no longer exist. Huh? Hello. Hey,
Hey
y'all.
everybody.
Hugs everybody. Hey, Elder Boo. Hey, everybody. Haven't seen y'all. Be knowing I be looking. I don't look at the chat because then I be getting off topic, and I still get off topic anyway. But I be looking at the chat. I don't look at the chat. Hey,
I know
y'all.
I had spoke to them earlier. I'm like, hey Leilani, Elder Boo.
It sits. I ain't gonna lie. I have a a pop socket on the back of my phone, and my phone sits hanging on my shirt, and it's where I
Oh,
can't see it. I take my glasses off because if I start reading, I'll start focusing on what I'm reading and not what I'm doing. And baby, like,
yeah.
get the topic. I'm like, I got it. Anyway, but I can't do it. I'm sorry, and I understand that that's how some people process. If that's how you process your grief and your sadness and your anger, I more
Yeah.
power to you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I don't.
I know. I'm the same way,
If
Lisa. I'm the
okay,
same way.
case in point, if I take my wife back after she cheated on me, I promise you I didn't forgive her because I didn't forget.
Mm-hmm.
I just decided that what she did wasn't enough for me to give her my marriage.
That's right.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't forgive her because she made me do it. Nope, because she made me do it. Certain things are an act. Certain things are not. Oh, no, you ain't did that. Why would I do that? Oh, well, no, no. I hypothetically speaking, no, no. They be having whole videos going. You heard what happened? DC out there hoeing. Lisa just sit there and let the hoe. Lisa just sit there and let the hoe. No. Anyway, but no. I just decided that whatever the transgression was, not even cheating, whatever it is, because people don't just break up for cheating. So
That's right. That's
whatever the
right.
transgression is, I decided that it wasn't a serious enough transgression for me to get to end my marriage. Did
Yeah.
I forgive? No, because I didn't forget. And when you do something to somebody, it's a series of actions. It's not an
Mm,
accident. I will forgive somebody for an accident.
mm,
You lost control of your car and you hit my shit and you say you sorry. Cool. I understand it's an accident. You tripped and spilled something down my one of a kind jersey. You say, damn, my bad. I'm so sorry. You cool. You good. It was an accident. It
mm.
wasn't a series of actions that you took to actively hurt me.
Right.
Cheating is an action. And it is not just one action, it's a series of actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's deciding that you're going to do it,
Yeah.
finding somebody to do it with,
Yeah.
cultivating a relationship to do it with that person,
Mm-hmm.
meeting that person for the first time, cultivating a situation as the way y'all going to have sex, making
Talking about it.
plans,
Yeah. Yeah. Making plans.
showing up,
Mm-hmm.
going in the room, getting undressed at any time. Doing everything I said, you could have said, you know what? I ain't going to do that. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
hurt my baby like that. I'm gonna stop while I'm where I'm at, and I'm gonna try to fix this. And if I can't fix it, we just gonna have to break up or whatever.
Yeah.
If you do a series of actions that end up you hurting me,
You be sorry.
roll with that shit, cause I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for
Mm-mm.
you.
No need you coming to me talking about, but baby.
Forgive me, please. Anything.
Because
Don't
the
don't
whole
come.
thing is, I'm not gonna. I know we can't say what we won't do, because nobody know what you'll do. But I know I wouldn't do that to you, you know. And like you said, going through the whole process, meeting that person, getting undressed, talking about what y'all gonna do,
Even a
whatever it.
one night stand, even a one
Yeah.
night stand for somebody you met at the club, that is still a series of actions. Let's say, for the sake of argument, it was not a process of finding the person, talking to them online. Let's just say you went out and you and this girl or guy started getting frisky and friendly, and you decide it's still a series of actions. I saw you, I got excited, I followed up with it. I followed you home. I got in the car. I got out the car. I went in the door. I opened the door. I went in the door. There's still a series of actions that at any point
Yeah,
before you exchange bodily fluids, you could have carried your ass home.
that's it.
So even if it's a one night stand, even if it's an all shit, it still was a series of actions. It was not an
Not all
accident.
shit.
It was not an accident. You didn't accidentally slip and fall in no coochie.
That's it.
If it's random coochies on the sidewalk, then you definitely need to jump over them because something wrong with them.
Hmm.
There's no amount of I'm sorry you can say to me if you hurt my kid. There's
That's right.
no amount of I am sick, I am mentally ill, I didn't know it was wrong. Nobody ever told me, somebody should have stopped me. No amount of that shit. No amount, there's no forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I take your life, I don't expect your family to forgive me, and I don't want it. I don't need your forgiveness. I'm good. I'm happy. I
Mm-hmm.
meant to kill him. I meant to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
I wish people would just own up to the shit. Because you know what? I would feel better about somebody saying, you know what, you right. I've been through that shit to you.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. You right. That would feel better than somebody sitting up here asking for forgiveness. That would feel better than somebody expecting me to forgive. People expect you to forgive. Tell you how bad you
Yeah.
are because you tell me how bad I am because I don't want to forgive nobody. Fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Oh my
Out of here.
God. Yes. I got family members like that. They always tell me,
Something
you so
wrong with
hard.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
You
nothing
don't forgive.
wrong with you.
Yeah, I tell you, nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with y'all that y'all sit up here and call yourself forgiving people or whatever y'all call yourself doing, and then put yourself back in that position for that person to do it again. What we doing? Did you enjoy what they did to you or what? What's happening?
I think
What's
that
going
some
on?
people like being victims. I think that the
Oh,
attention that comes from being the damsel in distress, a man or a woman, I
mm-hmm,
think that is a thing to some people. Just how some parents keep their kids sick because they like the attention it gets when the child is sick all the time.
mm,
People who do outrageous things that they know will hurt themselves because they like the attention they get.
yeah, yeah.
I think that, and that's cool, do you. But if you, I just can't, I'm sorry. I cannot imagine. I wanted, I watch TV and baby be playing the game and I'll be sitting over here talking to the TV. She say, you talking to the TV? Of course I am. I be cussing the people out on the TV. I wanted to cuss the parents out. You remember I was talking about how a couple had turned in the computer. It was a girl and a guy. And they
Mm-hmm,
turned in their roommate's computer. And the police had investigated them, going through her underwear drawer, making them have lie detector tests, constantly questioning them about the
mm-hmm,
computer and what they knew about it. Not going on the computer and seeing what was on there. And the parents of the girl was talking about how how she's still afraid of the police and da 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 whoop de whoop. But at the same token, sitting there talking about the police did their job. You know, because the reporter said, "Well, you don't think that if they'd have looked at the computer, this might not have happened? Oh, woulda, shoulda, coulda. You never know. What else? But you sitting up there talking about how the police did your kids.
right.
You sitting there talking about how the police did your kid. But in the same breath, you excusing them for when they don't do their job. You excusing them? Them ain't parents.
Mm-hmm,
I was cussing them folks out. I look at some people when they get to talking about what they do for their kids and what they won't do for their kids and and I sit up there and I wonder what made you have these kids? Because somebody told you was supposed to be somebody's mom or dad? Because what? Because I wouldn't trust you with a dog.
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trust you with a wild animal, let alone a baby.
Right.
And you sit up there acting like you done did something. And then because they didn't turn, because the parents are the ones that turn the computer in, and because they didn't turn it in to Crime Stoppers, the parents said they couldn't get the reward. You don't deserve.
Hmm.
We couldn't get the reward because we could really use the money to put our daughter in therapy because of what happened behind the police. But they were doing their job, right?
Right.
They didn't do nothing wrong, right?
Hmm.
Okay. That guy should have been arrested. If not arrested, at least understand that he was on the police's radar so that maybe that little girl would have made it home.
Mm-hmm.
Period, point blank, end of discussion. You had the information and you chose not to do anything about it. You were willfully ignorant, and in the process, somebody died.
Wow.
That's just it. Y'all can sit up there and beat around the bush and play with it anytime. If you have knowledge that could have avoided something and you choose not to go through with it, that's on you. Feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't understand when people feel bad about irrational when they had absolutely no control over it. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand when you blame yourself for things you had absolutely no control over.
Right.
But if it had been okay, I protect this. If it had been me and my neighbor would have came to me and said, "Hey, there's some messed up stuff on your son's computer. You need to check out your kid."
Wow.
If it had been a parent, or if it had been a civilian,
Mm-hmm.
if it had been anybody other than the police, they would have been like, "Well, why didn't you investigate? Why didn't you look on your kid's computer? Why didn't you check on it? Why didn't you tell somebody?"
Mm-hmm.
That's what they would have said. You the parent, why ain't you look on his computer?
Mm-hmm.
He live in your house. How could you not know? That's the first thing they gonna say. How could you not know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you don't have that same smoke for the police. You don't have that same smoke for people whose job it is. But it had been his mammy, everybody would have been like, "Why you didn't do nothing about it? Why you didn't turn him in? Why you didn't say nothing to him? Why weren't you paying attention to him?"
Right.
Sir, y'all had that computer for 2 months. Y'all didn't even scare him.
Mm-hmm.
You scare a little girl, sell a lemonade on a hot summer day because she ain't got a permit. But you won't go down there and knock on the door and let old boy know that we watching?
Right.
Come on
Backwards.
now.
Uh-uh.
Our children are the ones that are being affected by our inactivity, by us allowing and sitting up there excusing people whose job it is to keep our children safe. Our children are the ones. The police go home.
Yeah.
The police can shoot your 12-year-old son in the face and go home and still collect the check.
Yeah.
They don't lose anything. The same person who killed this one 7 years ago, he killed that one. A few months ago, he had this one in a Hammerlock, but nobody cares about that because he's a police officer. It's a hard job. He feared for his life. Well, what about all of us that fear for our lives and our kids' lives? What the hell are we supposed to do about it? I bet we go to jail. I bet we
Yeah.
wouldn't get a paycheck and sit at home and get a paycheck while they try to investigate.
So wouldn't. Mm-hmm.
We were scared for our life. We were in fear of dying. That's no excuse. That's what they tell us. That's no excuse. That's not your job. Why were you scared? The police were there. That's the fuck why we were scared.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel for your life with a 12-year-old, but you can't do your job with a 26-year-old.
Hmm.
You can make excuses as to why you can't find that little girl, to why you ain't got no leads. to why you don't know where to look. When you got a computer sitting in your back office for 5 months before y'all click the mouse.
Hmm.
Sitting in evidence for 5 months
Crazy.
while they're burying their baby. 5 months while he is still constantly molesting another child.
Mm-hmm.
But you got excuses for that. We couldn't find it. That's not our job. We ain't supposed to do that. I don't understand what y'all mean. We could talk about this all night, and the reality is nothing's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Until, as a collective, the laws change, until they get rid of qualified immunity for the police, until the police start being arrested and convicted like the people that they are hurting, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
As long as the police are allowed to harass whoever they want without consequence, nothing is going to change. As long as you have one laws for rich people and one laws for poor people, nothing is going to change.
So true.
As long as you have one law for white people and one law for other people, nothing is going to change.
Yeah. Brown's Law.
And at the end of the day, it's going to be us that have to sacrifice our children, our lives, our spirit, not them. I would like to thank my co-hostess with the mostest, Miss Krista. Thank you for coming on. We'll be back next week. Next week, I'll harass you. I'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. We do come on during the day. If something makes my ass itch, I don't know how to put that into a title. We'll figure it out. Like noon or so. Something I'll be watching something that something makes my ass itch. Well, I'll pop on for 30 minutes. Let y'all know about it. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody who came through. Everybody who watched us in the replay. Make sure you hit that like button. Comment down below. Share this video. Subscribe if you like what you see. And hit that notification bell so that every time we drop a video, go live, you guys can join us. Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, baby. Y'all have a great night. It's your girl.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.